us. Our biggest problem in this area is if they take Elandsfontein, they will be taking the entire Vaal triangle. And it's not just, we've been told Elandsfontein is the testing ground for them, and if they get it right here, we will lose our homes. We have nowhere to go. I don't have enough money to go and start over. I don't have enough money to go and buy another house. It is hard. It's been a daily fight, and us as residents, my mother, myself, we were threatened again this morning at our gates. I've had to have people guard me 24/7 just to feel safe in my own home, and I've never had to feel like this in 40 years. And it's frustrating. We just don't know. We don't know which way to turn and which direction to go, because do we leave our home and just move, or do we stay and fight? My opinion, if we don't stay and fight, we're going to lose everything. And it's hard. I just don't have enough words to express it. My whole reason for Saturday the 4th of July was to get landowners together to stand up and show presence, show these people, we're also in numbers, we can take back our land. My whole objective to this is, if we can get this right in Elandsfontein, we can take back our country, we can make a difference, we can save farmers, we can save other people's lives. So this is a fight for our country, not just a fight for myself or for my home. I'm looking at basically for 175 plots in Elandsfontein. And I've been fighting a constant fight for the last 6 weeks, and we're not getting any assistance from government. We're not getting any assistance from the police. We've got to beg and plead just for security and for help. You know, where personal individuals and farmers and outside organizations have stepped in to help us and assist us. So my whole point is, it's not to say our council hasn't done anything for us or haven't helped us. Yes, they did get the blanket order for Elandsfontein, but they have not solved the situation. Every time we phone them, it's a story. It's another delay. It's another day. You know, what are they waiting for? For one of us to die first before something's going to happen, and then it's going to turn into a racial war? You know, we in Elandsfontein are a community of black, white, colored, Indian. So with us there is no discrimination. We're all staying together. And the amount of support we had yesterday, I would just like to say thank you to everybody that has supported me and backed me up and stood with me through all of this. It's been extremely hard. As it is, today might be my last day in my own home. You know, so where do we go from here? If we don't make a stand in our country and fight for our rights and fight for our homes and take back what is ours, what is South Africa come to? So
excellent.
Basically, that's my story from my side. We can give 100 other residents here a chance as well, but I've been fighting this fight since 2018, and from the 29th of May 2020, it's just escalated on a daily basis.
Awesome.
Siener Van Rensburg, the Vaal Triangle and the Syndicate Stream. I am making this video which will be pretty short. In the following days I will be releasing an important video about events unfolding in this country and tying it in together. In an upcoming video I will explain how some government organization or some witchcraft was used to see through my eyes. It was a spooky event and I will cover this in another video. Their attempt to use remote viewing was blocked, but they managed to just get through prior to them being stopped and me waking up. I am now going to show you that my Syndicate Stream as well as Under the Cover of Darkness dream tie in with the seer's visions about the Vaal Triangle. I have a super important video coming out within the week. It is very important. I have discovered the globalists is now using the seer's visions to win you over and support a secession movement. They are trying to unite the groups, trade and assist in the Cape seceding, which is part of another dream I had. In fact, this ties in with two dreams, the Cape being pulled from the ANC, the borders changed, Swaziland's king annoyed, and the last Boas government. All this confirms that the nation is free. My dear brothers and sisters, you need to let your leaders know. The chains are off for the nation. The nation is free. Don't wait for their chains to hit the ground. Act as if you are free. Your century of bondage has been released from the Almighty. Let me get back to the Vaal Triangle. In my dream about Under the Cover of Darkness, I saw troops being moved around Johannesburg. Many well-armed trained groups. I include the links to all the videos below. Let those who have eyes and ears discern the truth. Trust not one word I write, pray and ask Yahweh if it is true. I say what I see in dream visions, and it is a commandment from 2016 to write what I am told to write. I do not write because I want to, but because I am doing it out of fear of the Lord. The troops were moved under the cover of darkness. The darkness is the coronavirus. The virus would be used to transport the troops. The syndicate dream was shown to me. The insight came to me while making lunch and listening to my Bible. While I was listening, as if from the far distance I heard an echo that became louder and louder, and the question was, where are those troops? Those troops in reference to the dream under the cover of darkness, and the second that occurred, the insight hit me like a flash of light. They are now operating with the syndicates during this period. Today it occurred to me an hour before writing this that the ANC already know we are a free nation. I will explain this fully. The Cape is going to secede faster than the globalists are projecting. They are talking about the Cape seceding in about 2 years. I do not for one moment believe it will take this long. They are going to push things forward. They are going to incite the violence here in the Witwatersrand region, the Vaal Triangle, in order to speed up the secession of the Cape. The ANC know this, which is why they are moving fast. Basically, the ANC has lost control of the country, and this is the start of the warlord period. These MK veterans are now Operation the Soldiers in the Dream under the cover of darkness to take the land. This confirms the dream and ties in with the seer. All this is part of the plan. The globalists are pushing the ANC leadership on top to do this, while at the same time they swoop in for the Cape. The entire purpose of them pushing this narrative to get the groups united is not for a government for the Volk. No, it is to protect the Cape when it secedes. One realized very quickly, there is nothing new under the sun. What has been will be done again. We are at the reverse side of Piet Retief. With Piet Retief, the Voortrekkers left the Cape to move inland. It was then that Dingaan was sent letters from the Cape telling him that we, the Voortrekkers, had abandoned the Cape. We were deserters. This resulted in the death of Piet Retief in the Blaukrans massacre. Now it is in reverse. Now the globalists are back. This time they are orchestrating this, pushing the masses onto our lands to confuse those trekkers and organizing the fighting up in the center of the country while they swoop in during the chaos for the Cape. In other words, throwing us under the bus. They orchestrated this much like the events of Piet Retief. I am shocked how few of our historians in this country actually realize that Dingaan was told in a roundabout way to murder Piet Retief. In Zulu culture, if you are a deserter, you are immediately put to death. When the letter was read out to Dingaan by the Christian missionaries, they were sending a message that they knew full well would result in the murder of Piet Retief and the whites. Their plan backfired, much like it is going to backfire at this moment in time, and I will cover this in full detail in the upcoming video. I mention this, it is not some isolated event, these syndicates taking land from whites in the Witwatersrand area. It is part of the Cape's secession. Anyway, I will cover this in full detail in another video. Listen here carefully to what this man says being interviewed in the next 4 minutes, then compare it to the words of the seer and also to my dream. I am telling you people to unite in spirit but not in groups. The globalists can fight their own battles. Under no circumstances must groups unite. This is not fighting differently, this is fighting the same, and fighting the same will see you defeated and the nation slaughtered. I cannot stress enough, please people, do not fall for the globalists' plans. Those who propose unification are setting a trap for you. They want you united and they know where or what you are doing. Do not do that. United in spirit, yes, united in heart for the nation, and in the end when things play out, sure you can then unite, but uniting now will result in serious problems for the people and the nation. Do not unite. Uniting sounds like a noble, great idea and something we should do because it makes sense logically, but if you know how the globalists think, they know how you think and are one step ahead of you in getting you to unite as one large army. What the globalists doesn't know frightens him. You don't want the globalists confident in their strategy. You want them on their toes. Not only do you want them on their toes, you want them to second-guess their every move. Please spread the message. My dream showed me what and how things would be fought in the future, and it is not the way these overseas commentators want us to fight. I am very skeptical when I hear someone sitting overseas telling people what to do. Organizing events, speaking all nice, doing nice things for the nation. These people will play nice for decades. It's part of the maze game to win you over, to hand them over right into their lap. Those promoting unification of the groups are setting you up. Do not fall for their tricks. If anything, divide and then divide again. No one must know what is there. Silence is winning. Coming out, uniting, showing the enemy what you have is foolish. You might as well hand your weapons over. Tell the enemy everything. Please do not do it. They want you united for their purposes. This is what Siener Van Rensburg had to say about the Vaal Triangle. This period is now. It could last weeks or months. It ties into my dream about soldiers brought in under the cover of darkness and also the syndicate streams. Vaal Triangle prepared for war. The 13th of May 1918. Numerous small grey locusts in Johannesburg. Locusts or grasshoppers represent government troops or a nation preparing for war. The locusts are not large, thus it is not a large army as that of a large country. Their grey colour identify them as Boers in the Johannesburg area. Vaal Triangle, preparing for war. 76. Boers also prepared for war. Vision, the 25th of May 1923. Unarmed blacks come in sight far in the east. I felt something alive in the pocket of my jacket, and when I put my hand in and turned it inside out, live locusts fell out and hopped northwards. Locusts indicate a nation preparing for war. These visions are what are unfolding right now in the country. When the IMF steps in, they will at first not make huge demands, but slowly they will. The other thing are those pension funds. If the ANC don't like what the IMF offer them, then they will go after the pension funds. This is when they collapse, and also the rand collapses. Don't be fooled by the rand to dollar exchange. This virus thing isn't over. When it's over, you will see the real value of the rand. We are going to see a lot of things now happen in South Africa, and I will cover all of them in an upcoming video. ISIS is here on our borders, and let me give you a little taste of what I will be covering in the upcoming video, which could possibly be close to an hour long. Whenever you see ISIS, you find the US getting involved. The government is going to be so overwhelmed with everything going on, they will not be able to handle it. The US will move in, but not for ISIS, but for the fulfillment of the vision of the Americans fighting a Chinese-led revolution on the northern borders of the country. It might not even be apparent to America right now, but in time they will fight that war with China on our borders and they will win. In the next video I will be covering the following. Land invasions, ties into my syndicate dream, plus war troubles discussed by the seer. Vaal Triangle seen as visions, war on Vaal Triangle, Eskom collapse, pension funds, black on black violence, tribal violence, my dreams, under the cover of darkness, syndicates. Cuban medical doctors and their assistants with the ANC's revolution on the ground, revolution on the northern border, taking land. ISIS, who are and what? ISIS are not the Turks. Yes, ISIS are not the Turks. Today an insight, a vision was shown to me who and what ISIS are. It is the most brilliant thing I have ever seen, and if I even give a hint to it, then I put myself in danger. It hit me so hard that even mentioning or giving a few crumbs will alert the government to who and what they are, and besides, I do not want to give even 1 inch to the racist ANC government. Their days are now over. With ISIS on our borders. ISIS is the red flag waving in front of the Western alliance of the world, and soon America shows up along with a whole host of other European nations that were already discussed in a previous stream. Secession, 2 types, the Cape plus a Boer government, and how this all unfolds. Groups uniting, do not unite under one group, not now, and not for the reasons they want you to unite. Anyone promoting unification of the groups wants you fighting for the globalist and Broeder Barn here in South Africa. Globalists who want the Cape, the UK in financial trouble, and the Cape secession. The Cape secession movement has been hijacked, and the globalists are jumping all over the fact our people want a secession. It is a signal for them to jump back in. The armies coming south, the Turk, ISIS here on our borders are not the Turk. World War III nations first testing and fighting in Africa via proxies. All this will be covered in my upcoming video. Stay safe, pray for the nation, and may we be united under one God.